What is going on, y'all? KMBest here. The most recent Golden Gauntlet tournament was won by W, piloting a custom SUPERGIANT list. It's probably the hardest deck in the game. Luckily, he's here to help us out. W, welcome back to the channel. You've been on the channel before. I want to say it was under the name Wowalos. Remember that you changed in order? Were you W then, or were you still Wowalos?
I think I switched pre-SNAPcon just to make things easier, and that was a while back.
It was.
So it's probably. Yeah. So we probably have been on this both for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of people might remember me from my Hearthstone WWLOS Wowalos days over the W, because I have a middle ground of going away, coming back way too much to really be totally known. But yeah, here I am as W right now and probably forever, because it's a little bit easier than Wowalos ever was. So
yeah, during the tournament, I was doing pronunciation checks, and I was like, asking all these people with confusing names to tell me how to pronounce their name, and you chime in like, "Hey, man, you know how to pronounce my name?" And it turns out, I had no idea. I called you Wowalos for forever. Luckily, I can pronounce the letter W. Hopefully,
and that's why I switched over, because we were, I was doing more interviews during that period and all that, and I was going to these tournaments and I was placing. So it's like, it needed to happen. And then, it came to fruition. The namesake was awarded yesterday. As it should be. So,
and this is a list that I think probably wasn't on a lot of people's radar. I know it wasn't in my video of decks that like a bunch of people were bringing, because you didn't send it to me. Slops, by the way. But yeah. I will say that it was... I have a clip of myself from like 11 days ago when I was reviewing the season saying I think we're 2 weeks away from SUPERGIANT being busted. So I do get to take like a mild victory lap on this one. How much of this was just in deference to Iska, though?
A lot. So I didn't respect Iska at all on release, and I was like prepping all sorts of other lists for this tournament, and was realizing I was gonna be caught my pants down pretty quickly. And it was Glenn. A few days, whenever it was, Glenn made a tweet about how he used like the OG, at least recently OG version of this list, like the very stock.
Yeah, with the Iron Patriot and all that.
Yeah, he posted he had Infinite one, and I was like, oh yeah, that list exists, and it feels really well positioned right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just took it, was playing with it, made my changes that I thought were really appropriate: the Elektra, the Cable, adding in Cannonball, just because like for Conquest, these are the kind of changes I think really matter. And I was starting to test, and I was like, oh, wait, this actually is pretty well positioned right now. I feel pretty good about it. It was going to be so much better than the I was going to bring like some Magus ongoing nonsense that like I haven't posted. I probably will. But this worked out incredibly. And I'm, you said I think in the intro that I mastered this, and I've been seeing that a lot. I don't have a ton of experience with this list. I really don't. SUPERGIANT, like if you look at my cards, I have SUPERGIANT is like one of my least played cards. So I am, a lot of what I was doing, I'm still picking up on the fly. I learned a lot yesterday in 10 rounds of play, but I do think I was lucky enough to pick it up pretty quickly, and it performed so well. And I'm really pleased with some of the changes I made. Elektra being one of the main ones, because it wasn't seen in the top 16, because 3 of the lists I played there didn't run 1-drops.
Yeah.
But, in the first 6 rounds, that Elektra was awesome. It was great. So, I'm proud of this list.
I describe this deck as a deck that is, it's a very you deck. It drags your opponent down to your level, and then it beats them with experience, because you've been in a million like games that you win by 2 points, and they're probably playing like a combo deck, and they're just not used to what happens when it doesn't necessarily work. What would you say, other than SUPERGIANT, is the most key disruption piece in a list like this?
Negasonic, for sure. Because if you have enough, I think I called it yesterday, like I was going to win that final game was just vibe gaming, just trying to figure out what my opponent's doing, and just Cosmo, and Cosmo too, but Negasonic and Cosmo being able to make the reads to make those cards the best cards in the entire situation. On either side's list, those two cards can be the best cards in the list if you are making the right calls. And I like to, like, with Conquest and open decklist tournaments, it's all about like being able to leverage the info equity to the best ability. And I do think experience goes a long way of that. I have been doing this a long time. I trust myself to take the info of knowing everything and applying that to the game better than most opponents. I've only ever there's only so many people I'm like, if it's like a Lambie, I'm like, okay, he's probably. I don't like to.
Playing on different levels is what you're talking about, right? Like,
essentially,
what level do I have to be on to beat this player? And a lot of people, you're going to be able to just say, I'm putting you on level 0. I'm making the level 1 play. Against a player you know and respect, you've got to start thinking a little bit differently because they know what you're going to be doing too.
Yeah. Which kind of goes into that finals match. I don't know how, I was really lucky to be able to watch Movi's full match before, since I went first.
Ooh.
And I was able to really pick up on their play styles. And they were inconsistent, but they were very jukey and very shifty. But
it was never level 1. It was always level 2. Yeah.
And but the thing is they were consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
So like if you look at our final 2 games, in our final, they kind of played out the same way. It was a situation where they had Shang on my big dude, whatever that big dude was. And both times they leveraged over like some wild arms a la combo thing. They leveraged the Shang as a priority play. And the first time I didn't have the Cosmo to stop it. But the second time I did, and I was like, okay, so are they gonna be shifty? But then I remember, no, they were consistently the way they were. They really were. So I was like, okay, I think they're gonna go for the Shang again. I was able to use the Cosmo to stop the play, and that ended up winning the game. But that's the kind of stuff, that goes hand in hand with having an open deck list, being able to like kind of know how the player is playing. I trust myself to be able to take that information and apply it and get over the top. It doesn't always work, obviously.
There was a blown read in that finals. I remembered that. I remember being like, I feel like there was the blown read in the finals that I noticed, and I was like, oh, interesting. I wonder, because like I noticed the same thing about the way Movi was playing. It was all like, make my opponent think I'm doing this, actually do the other thing. And like that was really, really good play. And the one read that you blew was when I think he was able to go to a second level above that. And I was like, oh, that's just Marvel Snap. That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, they were really, really good. I was really impressed, and I really didn't want to see them. I'm seeing a lot now that like, I think it's undecided which deck is favored. I thought his deck or their deck was favored.
I also thought their deck was favored. I was like, this seems not great.
No, I'm seeing a lot of posts like, oh, Supergiant was favored. But I mean, I think that's hindsight, maybe. Like, I don't know. I didn't want to see that. Like I said, it was vibes gaming where I don't have real counters to what they're doing.
No,
I have vibe counters. Like, okay, I have to make these calls correctly, or it's just I'm completely cooked and it can snowball incredibly fast. So that's not favored to me unless I make it favored. I have to make it favored. It's not the deck that makes it favored necessarily. So no, I didn't like that matchup. I'm happy it worked out how it did. And I did. I know like 2 specific times I kind of blew it. And I'm still the absolute worst aspect of my game. And I'll get into this more later too, just with how I am as a gamer now. But the worst aspect of my game is my snapping, and it always has kind of been.
Same, brother.
But yeah, but like I think I snapped once in the finals.
It felt like that was a lot of Movi. Like a lot of the games that you were playing against the Star-Lord negative deck, though, it's just really difficult to snap because you're like, snap, blown read, they instantly win the game.
100%. Yeah, not in that game for sure. It wasn't like I was going to be able to flex my ability to snap or not, just because they were always going to be able to snowball faster than I could ever possibly snowball.
Yep.
So they have that ability to really be like, okay, yeah, I have all this, and this. I should snap, or I just more have to be like, okay, I did hit on a Cosmo or I did hit on a Negasonic. I guess I can snap now, but even then, they can still do so much if they have the right hand. So it's just hard. But yeah, I mean, I had some notes like I I just don't play like I used to. So snapping, I think, is one of those things that really comes with a lot of play,
Yeah.
especially when I play enough to like know the meta. I knew what I was going up against, obviously, but like snapping is bottom of my list of things I care about because I really do think it's very important. But like I know I'll get there in most tournaments when I need to. It's something I could work on. But I mean, I'm just a treadmill gamer now. When I play Snap, it's almost always on the treadmill. I'm never sitting down and just playing.
That's insane because
I'm
I've done the same thing. Like ever since I stopped
Yeah,
streaming, it's not a treadmill. I just walk around my living room in a circle. And I'm just
yeah,
like I'm pacing around and I'm just like this is what I do when I play Snap now. And it's just not something I had access to when I was streaming all the Snap that I was playing. And it's like I feel like I think better. I can't explain
yeah.
it, but I feel like that's true.
No, I mean, I do think I analyze better. I think I make a lot more mistakes because I'm often kind of distracted. But like, I do think I get a general idea of what's happening a lot more too, just because like I'm able to, if I do make mistakes, I can learn from them pretty quickly. But yeah, I mean, anytime anyone has played me on ladder in the last like 2 years, I promise you, I'm either walking my dog or on a treadmill. So it's like I'm the Uncle Rico of card games. I like to think
Yeah, the
sometimes.
W stands for washed.
Yeah, 100%. I
Like,
mean, I went to ESL Legendary Series with the greats of Hearthstone back in 2015. It's still my Twitter header 11 years later. I am Uncle Rico. I can throw the football over the mountain. That is
I'm gonna edit this video so that that's the first thing people see. like, you know how like people like that are actually good at YouTube put like a stinger at the beginning of the video to just like draw people in? That's gonna be
yeah,
at the front. Like, that's gonna be the first thing on the video. Before we jump into the card by card, you mentioned changes specifically for an open decklist tournament, right? And there are
yeah,
a couple that I want to specifically highlight. Like, one of the things that I thought going into that final matchup was your biggest advantage was the threat of Supergiant on the Star-Lord, and then Cable Master Mold Maximus being like
yeah.
really meaningful disruption. And I kind of wanted to get towards your thoughts generally, specifically on what changes you made and if you would play a different deck on ladder. And even more specifically, like Cable versus Iron Patriot in the context of both open and closed deck list. Maybe that can wait till the Cable section, but I do think it's something that sticks out to me as IP is usually like regarded as the open deck list guy. So what is it that
Yeah.
made you swap that out?
Yeah. So my last two changes I made were Elektra and Cable from Hydra Bob and Iron Patriot. And as soon as I decided I'm going Elektra over Hydra Bob, it's a lot harder to actually go Iron Patriot because you don't actually have as much prio tools. I also, after I cut the dragon too, like
Yeah.
I'm losing a lot of what makes Patriot strong because I'm not always going to get prio. So Cable, I mean, I was going through 2 drops. I'm like, oh god, Cable. Back to info equity. Cable
Yeah.
can be the king of info equity and conquest. It's one of the cards that can give you the most edge, and it did in that last game, giving me the swapped Iron Man. There was one of the games I think it gave me Mr. Negative, like stuff like that. It can be round winning, and for a 2 drop for value. I mean, this whole list is just like value completely. Electric can find so much value. There's positions with Master Mold and Maximus where I'm clogging their hand, and like the value there can't be stated enough, especially in a matchup with like negative. I think I was forcing him to like Jane 1-0 cost. Like he had to do that. I'm like, that's incredible. He just drew a card. That's all he did. He used a Jane and just drew a card. That's awesome. Nothing changed. Uh, you know, yeah. I mean, you want to get into Cable? I think yeah, I agree. I have notes on Cable over here too.
We're gonna go in order, I think. We're gonna start with Elektra. Let's jump into the card by card breakdown. So let's talk about Elektra. When I first saw this, I was like, basically my thought process was Batroc ? Where it's just like, that's probably what this is about, because I don't think you can beat that deck if they're doing that. Like, you just get outscaled really hard, and you need to, like, and I think the other thing is, my instinct is, you got to blow the Batroc up really fast, because you can't let them
100%.
start getting Craven procs either. You can't let them get to Hydra Stomper procs. because you can't deal with enough of those in separate lanes. Even if you blow the Batroc up at the end and it's -10, you still are getting scaled on pretty hard.
Yeah. With Mercury and Shadow King, I actually still feel fine without it, Elektra. But like with Elektra, I'm like, okay, I'm winning that matchup. That's a matchup I don't have to worry about, like at all. And I expected to see it. Of course, I never saw it, but like it's a matchup I fully expected to see. And then like as soon as the tournament started, the list came out, and like one of the top 10 cards I think was like Sunspot. I'm like, okay, check. That's a good reason to have this card. I think I went round by round, like when it mattered. I think round 1 it actually didn't matter, but round 2 was like a C3, and they had like plenty of 1-drops.
How did you win that matchup? Can I just like segue here, because that seems wildly unwinnable.
I didn't like it, but if I remember correctly, I think there was a couple times where Cannonball made really fun moves on locations and really messed up their stats. I think that happened in that round. I think they blew it. I think they over snapped a situation they shouldn't have, and I think there was some luck involved with that round for sure. But yeah, I didn't like that matchup too. That was round 2. All these tournaments I lose round 1 or round 2 and always have to fight back. This is the first time I ever finally just swept, thankfully, and I think that's nice. But round 3 and 4 were Shao lists with like the Kitties, the K Bishops, all that stuff. Round 5 was the biggest Elektra. It was actually the Zombie Galactite, which is another one I didn't love, but I mean that just takes a whole. I mean they are so reliant on like the Chavez Nico being a big thing. Take that out, you're good to go. And then round 6 was a Thanos. So I mean, it was all over the place until the finals on it, or until the final 16, honestly, where Elektra was just finding value after value, so much more than Hydro Bob can possibly give you, especially if you're not going to be rolling a Iron Patriot Prio game. So I mean, that's what I was looking for. I mean, there was even times I think in the one match in the top 16 where it mattered, it was a Agony, Ant-Man, Kitty, Shao list with Moonstone, so they were really dependent on that Ant-Man getting like really, really big. And I had like a super giant Elektra come out at the end of the game, kill the Ant-Man that went around. So I mean, I love a card like Elektra that were like, I think I can provide way more value than just any other 1-drop, because you can get this can be a 112 easily in this meta, 114, just because of what it's killing.
Does my choice of split offend you?
No.
Nice.
Why should it?
You'd be surprised.
I see nothing wrong with this.
I feel like there's just very little to talk about with Nightcrawler. You're a deck that cares so much about priority. Being able to use this card to make sure you get it and keep it after a Supergiant is amazing. Having it be a 1/3 is amazing. Not missing anything?
No, I mean, I was using Nightcrawler playing when it was still a 1/2. I mean, original Doom Wave back in the day, I had Nightcrawler when no one ever would think about it, because I just think it was so important for priority. It's always been just an incredibly strong priority card if you can leverage it correctly, which I think a lot of people don't understand with Nightcrawler, is that like you can move it not to like win, you can move it to try and get priority. That's the whole point. So like if I am already getting rid of other good priority cards, this is like a no-brainer, have to include priority.
Yeah, because one of the things you were doing, losing the dragon is, I think, a really notable hit to your priority game plan. Like, the dragon and the Bob are kind of your biggest early guys that you're reasonably going to be playing. And so if you have to, like, scrape out priority by a couple of points, this is the card that's going to let you do that.
100%. So, it was awesome.
Talk a little bit about the god himself, Master Mold. Was he, like, I know he was pretty good against the negative deck. He was like, I think Master Mold's going to be really good here. But without the dragon, how did you feel about just, mostly a vanilla 2/3?
Mostly, yeah. Especially, I mean, that's, it's still, we need something for priority. So we got to slap it out there and just let it go and do its thing. Going back to that C3 matchup, that was a nightmare. I had to hold it most of the time. So, I mean, luckily you're still kind of getting priority there, because they're not like getting that big early. But yeah, it was just a 2/3, but it did its job, obviously. And if I think in that in situations like a C3, I was even able to hide it under Supergiant. Again, so you can get it out there. But it does its job. You need a big guy. This enables the big guy.
It's one of your most important cards against basically anything playing Star-Lord, though. And it's particularly also pretty decent against Sholau, although not nearly as decent, because those are both decks that either, in the case of Star-Lord, not really going to play any cards. In the case of Sholau, playing a lot of cards that put cards in their hands. So if you can brick some draws and just take them off their combo a little bit, that's usually a good thing to do.
100%. And if you know the hand situation, you're leveraging it correctly, you can kind of count out your odds a bit on what you might be taking away from the combo. At least like you're giving yourself some percentage points. So like that can factor in your decision making for sure.
Talk about the big boy. I mean, it's a 2/4.
Goated.
He's a 2/4 now.
Goated.
He's just been in a bunch of places.
Honestly, kind of, I don't want to say busted, but at least in this deck, it feels busted because it's such a, again, we're talking about priority. 2/4 helps enable, like anytime I was drawing this and being able to play this on 2, I felt so good. It was always a game where I'm like, this is incredible. If I was curving out this deck, like I don't really know how I lose most of the time. It's just so, Cable's awesome. I think I had something about Cable. It just goes back to like the info equity. Like you only have so much in the open deck list, and this can just completely leverage the situation in your favor. Knowing what you've taken, whatever it might be, like this is a huge turbot. None of the cards being played for the most part are bad. Like you're getting good things, and you're getting Bryo of that 2/4 body. It's just, I'm so happy I made that swap. I'm so happy I was able to like kind of realize I don't need Hydra Bob and Patriot are cool. Elektra and Cable are game winning. And I think that's really important. And these deck kind of like, at least for Conquest, and I think it can be the same.
No, this deck doesn't have blowouts. These are the blowouts.
Yeah. Like if you can opt for cards that can literally win you a game by themselves in the 1 and 2 spot, like the value there is just too insane.
It's really good because you are not going over the top in any other way.
No.
Like these are cards that are blowouts because of the context of the metagame, right? Because of Batroc stuff, because of a bunch of people playing a bunch of combo decks, right?
Yeah.
And
because I'm not winning by going big. I'm never winning by going big. I have one big guy. And he's more of like a threat.
Yes.
He's
it's
not.
like, I
He's
know
more,
what's going on.
He can often be a distraction. Like, honestly. Like,
and also, he's just a 2/4, so you kind of get it for free, relatively speaking. Like, you're kind of just interested in that anyway. But, like, there's this thing where it's like, I worry people will see this and they'll be like, oh, I should put Cable and Elektra on all my other decks. And it's like, well, they might not need it as much. Like, if you're already doing something powerful and proactive, you don't need to be doing this stuff. But if you're doing this kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, Cable should not be a part of most game-winning plans unless it's a plan like this, where I'm just trying to beat what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not trying to do anything for myself for the most part.
It is legitimately the deck, right? Like, I have one guy that, like, there's kind of synergy here, and it's Ronin. And then the rest of the deck is like, you're not doing anything. You're doing nothing here.
No, it's really just on, like, decision making for myself and like, okay, am I going to be able to beat this with, I know what you're doing, can I beat it?
Talks a little bit about Ronin synergy, right? This guy showing up in the negative matchup the way he did is very funny, because you're just like, get those cards out of here. You're not negativing this. Get those cards into your hand. Like, I do not want you to be able to play negative about this. It's very interesting in that way.
Yeah, I mean, on turn 2, I wasn't always wanting to play it, but turn 3, it was, especially if they aren't playing things out, get out there, man. I'm in. I'm tempo Maximus all day. It's against most matchups, I'm honestly fine with a turn 2 or 3 Maximus. I really am. It's only so scary. Like it's another one I'm holding against C3, obviously. Man, that matchup.
It's really bad. I was surprised by how willing you were to do it against Doom 2099. That was the one that surprised me, because I was just like, I felt like if they got that card, you just lost the game. And you were like, well, let me give them closer to that card.
I'd have to look at the context of what was happening there on my side. But, if I did it, there's probably a decent enough reason.
Like you didn't have another 2-drop, and it's like, yeah, whatever.
That, or I was comfortable with their hand, like their situation with their hand, where like I thought maybe they are only really getting the one card out of it at the end of the day. But, yeah, I mean, I'm more fine with living with this, especially when we're still talking about prio. Like if I have a plan that needs if it's a situation where I'm not going to have to prio about playing this on 2 and 3, that's more important to me to get out there and just live with their draw. Um, you know, it just kind of needs to happen. You'll find yourself holding Maximus out of fear way more than you probably should. I personally think, because we need to have prio almost 80%, 85% of the time. So this card is important. It does the job.
The other thing about
But yeah,
Maximus in this metagame that I noticed, and tell me if I'm off base on this, there aren't a lot of decks that key off of velocity. Like, there aren't a lot of decks that are going to play every card in hand if you draw them towards those cards with the Maximus. But what instead there are a lot of decks that are like, I have a specific power play. But the rest of your deck is really good against specific power plays. So you're just like, I don't really care. You know, it's okay. Like, this is, like, I am more willing to eat the cost of this because there aren't people playing, like, I don't know, Zoo or whatever, where it's just like, if I draw you cards, those are on the board. I have to eat that, right? Like, your curve is low and you're not like specifically comboing or anything. All that's happening is I'm getting you closer to a show Lao that I'm going to blow up with a Negasonic anyway. I don't care. Or blow it up with a Cosmo 100%. Anyway. I don't care.
Even the Doom 2099, if I have the prio and I feel confident that I can probably figure out where he's going to play it.
I saw those Negasonics. I think you went like 1 out of 2 on the Negasonics in the Doom 2099 matchup. But if you count the Star-Lord matchup, I think you were like 3 out of 4. And I was like, that was nice with it.
So, I mean, and you can maybe you can figure it out. There are only so many places they want to play because they have to have the space for those suckers to come out.
Yep.
So they are going to choose certain lanes. Like, you can at least get a pretty strong 50-50 out of it. You can definitely eliminate one lane most of the time, and some people, some players might take that info and be like, okay, they know, there's a lot of metagaming there, a lot of thinking it out. But yeah, you're 100% right. We're in a meta where, like, we're spamming Star-Lord on 4. We're slamming this on 4. We're slamming this on 5. Like, they can have cards. They're going to do what they're going to do. So, we're fine. We have our answers. We can figure it out. We need the prio, though.
Does make Ronin big. Best card in the game. Like, Cosmo has been pissing me off recently because I want to say like 3 years I've been like, they should probably nerf Cosmo, like, on and off. It's been a thing that's entered my brain. And then last month, for the first time ever, he's the good guy. Because my whole pitch about Cosmo has been he has only ever been the guy that stops you from interacting. He has never been like a proactive, I'm going to make the metagame better. And then last month, he finally had a month where it was like, it's your time, Cosmo. You're doing this.
Do you think you still just have like PTSD from that really oppressive era where it was Shuri and Cosmo?
Yes.
And like there was literally just no winning against that deck because of Cosmo?
You just like, it'd just be like, oh, remember when we could try to interact with things? Nope. Cosmo has sort of always been this door slammer rather than a guy that actually solves problems, Yeah. And that has always been my knock on him. And then last month, he was, for the first time ever, a good boy. The first time ever, this dog was a good boy. And now he's back slamming doors. He's like, all right, we're done here. It's door slamming time. He's just so good.
So what's your change?
Oh, I have no idea. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So in the history of the game, like from the beginning, I always thought 2 cards were incredibly necessary, or otherwise things would get out of hand. And it was Cosmo and Shang, which they did actually make a really good change on. I didn't think there was really too much of an answer with Shang, because I thought as soon as they made that change at first, I'm like, okay, this card sucks. It's too weak. Things are gonna get out of hand. But it actually is a strong card still. It does its job.
It was like the 4th most brought card to the tournament, which for the record, I think was mostly people being wrong about it, but it was there.
Yeah. Probably wrong. I didn't miss it, but I don't know what you do, Cosmo. To really, is it really just power?
I don't know.
His ability is it 4 cost? That sounds horrible.
I don't know. All I know is that we get into these combo metas, and Cosmo is finally the good guy, and I think that's awesome. But what bothers me about Cosmo is when he fuses into the combo decks, right? So this, I consider your deck ethical Cosmo. This is good guy Cosmo. Sure. This is like, I'm stopping you from doing things. I'm the best card at doing that. What bothers me is like you're running into like every Sholau deck plays this. You're just like, you shouldn't get to do that. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to have that. What are you doing? Like,
I'm using Cosmo as the creator's designed to use it.
yes,
for sure.
As Glenn Jones intended, right? Yes.
Yeah. Whereas, when you're using it to stop me
Yep.
from doing what I'm trying to do, that's when we do have Cosmo issues. I mean, I tried with Echo. Wasn't Echo like basically made for Cosmo? I don't. Is there a world where we just get more cards like that to help? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
There was like the tweet. I remember the tweet like, "Oh, we have something for Cosmo. It's coming," and then they like showed off Echo. I'm like, what are we doing? We have to run this? Why do we have to? This is really your answer?
Yeah, I don't know. I like ethical Cosmo, but the second he crosses into like the line of unethicality, he just becomes a Goliath. And it's like, all right, man, why are we letting you do this? Like,
I have a serious question about Cosmo. If it wasn't a cute dog, would we hate it more?
Yes.
If Cosmo looked like Goliath, how long ago did it get nerfed?
Oh, 2 years. If Cosmo,
seriously,
if Cosmo was like, I don't know, pick any random human, this is getting nerfed for sure.
100%.
Like
it's literally we have this emotional connection because it's a dog. Like it's crazy.
This is my emotional support dog.
It's crazy. I really do think this card is nerfed so long ago. If it's like an ugly, if it's blob, if it's literally just blob.
Oh God, yes. That's a good angle, by the way. I'm gonna file that one away and be like, they haven't reverted blob because of fat phobia. I'm filing 100%. That away and I'm putting that in a hot takes episode. Expect to see that coming to a hot takes near you. That one, that's a good angle. I like it.
I like that too.
Mercury is such a beast, right? Like we talk about old Nocturne, right? And it's like, oh, 3/5 Nocturne. You know, like let's 3/5 Nocturne. Let's 3/5 Nocturne. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure 3/4 Mercury is better than 3/5 Nocturne.
Just because of all the things it can do for you.
I would also play 3/5 Nocturne in this deck, to be clear, but like
100%. And I want to get into the no magic counters at some point, but
it hurts.
But yeah. But Mercury, if Gamble wasn't a thing and we had 3/5 Nocturne, that's 100% the card.
Yep.
Just the hat. It's all goes back to the Prio thing again, right? Like even without the fact that it's stopping the bad truck decks, that you have the combo with Cannonball, giving yourself giving yourself something to play on curve that can dictate priority is just so strong in your game plan. It's just enabling everything you're trying to do. It's goated. It was another card that like if any game I was playing this on 3, I'm so happy. Like it's such a good feeling. This and Cable 2/3 was just always the best feeling in the world. It's beautiful. People get addicted to the stats. They want the dragon. You don't want the dragon. You want stuff that wins games. Stats can win games.
Wins games.
Yeah, stats can win games, but you're not running a deck that wins games with stats. You're running a deck that wins games with winning games. So
you're running a deck that wins games with scams. So on the broadcast, I totally missed the Supergiant on 5 interaction with Shadow King against Iska. Like genuinely for a minute and a half, I was just like, I don't understand why that happened, because I totally AFK'd the fact that you played a Supergiant on 5. I just didn't notice somehow.
I don't think that. By the way, I'm not sure my opponent knew.
Ooh.
Either.
Well, at least I'm in good company then.
No, I don't think they stay, right?
Probably
I was surprised. I was surprised they stayed.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's that's another kind of strength of this list, is if you're not experienced playing with it, it's really hard to play against sometimes because you just don't know the interactions all that well. So that's another part of info equity too.
Yeah. So things that happened that are worth talking about with Supergiant on 5. What happens is they don't play a card for any Doom 2099 procs, so they don't happen. Iska doubles and will get Shadow Kinged after her doubles. So there's no doubles that are able to get out of being Shadow King there. Both of those things were important in the game we're discussing here, for the record.
100%.
Now,
and that goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning. This whole deck choice started coming around when I started to actually respect Iska as much as I was having to respect it. So I mean, I was looking for things that covered a lot of bases, and this deck covered some bases.
So Shadow King has been in and out of Supergiant lists recently, where
yeah,
when everyone is playing Sholau, it kind of blows because it's just not very good against that, and they have a bunch of Cosmos. But if things are more diverse and people are doing things like the Iska stuff, it becomes really important to deal with that. Do you think everyone was just wrong to take it out in the first place? Are you liking this card against Sholau?
Yes, because you can always not play it under. You can always still throw Prio and not play it under there and juke them. Like your Shadow King is too good in this list because like if you are, especially an open deck list where you do know what you're playing against, you know if it's going to do its job, but you know if there's not going to be a Cosmo on the other side. If you do know there's a Cosmo on the other side, you can use that info too and play like they're going to Cosmo it. So you can still hide your other stuff under there and then Shadow King another lane. It's just, no, it's too good. I have no idea why we're taking this out. It makes no sense to me. It's strong in the metagame and it's very strong with your game plan. So, I mean, what do you want to replace this with? It's another card that just can win a lane by itself. It's only 3 cost. That's too important. It's too strong. It's just too much value. The dragon again, points. What are points doing for me?
Well, the points getting priority, I think, was the main thing.
Sure, but if I'm, yes, sure, but there's other ways to get priority.
Yeah,
there's not a whole lot of.
There
other
are
ways
no
to
other
deal
Shadow
with
Kings.
things.
Yeah,
no. So I don't know why we would replace
I
this.
do actually, because I remember I was one of the people who was like, man, Shadow King feels terrible in these matchups, right? Because like a lot of the way it would happen is what you'd want to do is just like have priority and then you'd win by like just the Negasonic was basically how it would work, right? Like you had like Negasonic and Cosmo, and that would be what actually won you the game against Sholau. And when everything was Sholau and everything was Star-Lord, Shadow King was just kind of sitting there looking at you and being like, well, this is absolutely terrible, and the only cards that matter are Negasonic and Cosmo, so I just have to optimize for those. And that was largely what drove that. But now that Sholau is nerfed and Star-Lord is nerfed, it's like, and Iska exists, like that, it does seem to me...
It's a little more diverse.
It does seem to me like it was justifiable a few weeks ago in a way that it is not now.
I can agree with that. But I guess the Conquest format and the open deck list format also shifts that a bit, I think. But for ladder, especially a couple weeks ago, I can get that completely.
Let's talk about like the actual best card in this deck. Like, this is just...
You can win a lot of games on 4. You can win a lot of games on 4. Going back to the whole if I was favored or not favored in that negative matchup, though, there's some games it's like, okay, do I really want to play this on 4? They just throw a damn negative into it. Like it also has its moments, but it's a really hard card to play. I said that, but if you're playing it right, it's probably the best card in the matchups because it just can win by itself. Obviously, there's all the stuff you can do for saving it for turn 6. That can go a long way depending on who you're playing against and what you're playing against. But yeah, I love this card. I don't think we change it by any means. I think
no.
Well, I think it's perfect the way it is.
You mean like you're worried about it getting a nerf? You think you might have gotten this card
I don't think
nerfed.
it should.
I don't think there's much they could do to it that would matter. Like what, they 4-4 it? Like, okay.
I mean, at a point, we are missing some stats. Like we have to still have some stats.
Sure.
So we do actually like depend on this body. Big time in this list.
I think that the biggest mistake I notice people making with other Supergiant decks when I watch people play is this has to be the thing that blows something up on 6. It's very that. And I want you to talk a little bit about other use cases for this card.
Well, yeah. So again, going back to all things priority, a lot of people also think Supergiant has to be played on 4, and it really doesn't. You can also save it for 5. And yeah, I think that's where a lot of people fall into a trap too, because they want to go Supergiant. They want to go that
flowchart the
curve.
Deck. It's not a deck you can do that very easily.
No, they want to go the perfect curve with it, and then this is like one of your turn 6 win conditions, which is like obviously fine. That happens all the time, but you're missing a really strong aspect on turn 4, like especially in this metagame with 2099. Why am I blanking on
Star-Lord?
Star-Lord. There's and even some, man, if I could have hit some of the Iron Lads that 2099 list was making, like this card can just single-handedly win the game on turn 4. The tempo of just destroying your opponent's turn 4 and getting a 4/5 out is the value in tempo. It's hard for anyone to really come back from, especially if you've been curving out, especially if you can go from there and just do what you always do. Like you have plenty to do on 6 where this isn't to be on 6. Like you have plenty to do on 5. Yeah, I love this card. I think it's fantastic, and I do think we often pigeonhole cards into certain things because we think they need to be played out this way. And I think a lot of people lose because they want to hold a card for a perfect situation, where the perfect situation isn't always going to exist. You can't be thinking like that. You can't be wanting everything to work out perfectly. You have to take the game as it comes and read what's happening and do what's best for that situation, assess the rest later. So yeah, I do agree. I think a lot of people like to hold this for 6 and then it never even gets played. And then you've just lost value that could have been found elsewhere. So
this is also one of the cards that makes Invisible Woman decks like the freest matchup you could possibly get, because their plays are extremely telegraphed. They're going in the same lane. And then you
100%.
also have, the Supergiant makes it free. The Elektra makes it free. It's just a super free matchup in general, but you don't need all of them. You just need a couple, and you just kind of win it.
Yeah, because you can't draw them all. So, you get there, and you get there, it's awesome. You cover so many bases in this meta of this list, and I knew that going in, but I also was so happy to see it proven, obviously. Even beating some of these matchups I thought were pretty tough. Like you just have the tools, and it's really just about how you leverage them. And this is one of the strongest tools.
The namesake of the deck, the sort of priority shenanigans that this card enables, allowing you to stop a lot of powerful stuff, right? Like this is a good card against Shout. It's not game winning because he's still really big, but it's good, right? You're very happy to use it there. It definitely cuts off at least half of their combo. This is a great card against Star-Lord. Like it puts that deck in the dumpster. This is a great card against Iska, Invisible Woman First Steps, puts them in the dumpster on 4 or 5, but mostly 5 in that matchup. And a lot of things that this card is able to do are core to the function of this deck. Because let's say the metagame was not those 3 things, you're not playing this deck, right? Like the reason you do this is the card that defines the sort of, sometimes when I think of decks, I think of matchups on one of those 5-point grids, right? This is the card that defines your grid.
100%. Yeah, I again, when I was reminded this deck existed by Glenn, it was when I was searching for something to cover bases, and because of the positioning of the metagame, this card, like you said, it doesn't have to be a card that is game breaking against every list, but the fact that it can give you at least some coverage on most lists being played right now just makes it so strong. Like it's just not a bad card. It's just a good card, and we want to play a list of good cards. I had a thought about Supergiant. I lost it, but
oh, that's also going at the beginning. I'm gonna do the clip at the beginning of you talking about your Twitter banner, and then a sound effect of some static, and then that clip, and then we're gonna go into it.
I'm tired. So you know what's crazy, and you can include this or not.
Sure.
So yesterday I told you. So my birthday's tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. By the time this comes out, your birthday will be yesterday, for what it's worth.
Okay, so yeah, my birthday is March 9th, and yesterday, Saturday, was the tournament day. I had dinner Friday with a group of friends, and there was quite a few martinis drank. So I wasn't already up to my best yesterday mentally. At least, thankfully, it was a late tournament in my time zone. It was like a 1:00 start.
Yeah.
So I was pretty good to go. But I also had I have a couple friends moving away. So there was a going away party, and I live right across from the area where everyone goes out. So after I officially qualified for Worlds, or after round 5, after going 5-0, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go out there. I'll go play round 6 at the bar on my phone.
I'm leaving this in.
I'll go play round 6 at the bar on my phone. see how that goes. And like, cause like I really, my main goal yesterday was just to qualify. I
Yeah.
wanted to win, but we also still wanted to kind of celebrate my birthday yesterday. So I was like, and everyone had been texting me, calling me. And I was like, okay, I'll come. So round 6, it was the Thanos matchup, and it went well, won,
I
and
really
I
hope that
immediately
guy
get
doesn't watch this.
I know, sorry. I had like a beer, a couple maybe, and it was fun, and I for some reason have always had weird situations where these tournaments are during social things for me that like I should get out of, but like I've won a couple tournaments at baseball games. It's happened. It's fine.
I remember
But
when
yes,
you were at a football game. I remember
yeah,
that
yeah.
very specifically. Yeah.
They're always at weird times. They're always one during OU Texas.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
That's happened every year. But anyways, right after round 6 ends, I immediately get the message, "Hey, we want you on stream for the first game." Okay, all right. And again, I can walk to the bar and back, so I was like, "All right, guys, I gotta go." So I did come back, finish it up my computer, but I've been a little spacey, so that's kind of where I was going in with my thought on Supergiant being
Yeah.
lost.
Just like
I'm
one.
very
I think the concept of it is very funny, where it's like, hey, let me talk to you
yeah.
about the Supergiant deck, and you're like, I had one thought. I don't have it anymore. I don't know, man.
I'll be honest, I'm pretty tired, but I'm
Yeah.
hopefully not coming off too tired. But
I mean, if you want some actual behind the scenes that I will edit out, I have thrown up today. I have not eaten today. I have taken exactly I've taken 3 pills. I have taken a knockoff Ozempic. I have taken 200 milligrams of caffeine, and I have taken an allergy pill. It is 5 p.m. That is what has entered my stomach. So I feel you.
Yeah, okay. Well, we need to get you some food.
I can't eat it. I will almost certainly throw it up.
Oh. Well, we got to figure something out for you.
I'm gonna give 10 seconds of silence there, so I actually remember how to edit it out.
Okay. I'll try and come up with some more Supergiant talk.
Oh no, we're going to Ronin. It's fine.
Okay, it's fine. There's not that much to say about it,
So Ronin the Accuser. There's kind of just only one thing to say about this card, which is this is a big man. This is a big boy. He's like the biggest 5. That's kind of it, right?
Yeah, and you do, all this talk about not using power to win, not using stats to win. You do kind of have to have at least a threat of stats. And this is often just that, it's enough to like, if it's not going to hold down a lane, it can at least make your opponent pay enough attention over there where you can sneak out the other 2. There's a lot of ways to leverage just a big boy, especially, you can hide it under Supergiant too. It's just great. One of the things I did in adding Cannonball, which we'll talk about in a second,
I can just go to that. I mean,
we can. It's yeah, because I mean it's just a big boy. But one of the things I did, adding Cannonball, a lot of these lists only run the Ronin and no other 5-drop. I think it's really important to have the second 5-drop because without the second one, when you're just dropping some 5-drop after the Supergiant, they just know it's Ronin and they can play around that. I keep using the words info equity, but
Can I tell you a sick tech that Gamer used to use in Supergiant?
Yeah.
He used to play a Wasp, so he could play a 5 and a Wasp, and they wouldn't know it was the Cannonball because they feel like that's 2 cards.
That's sick. I don't want to run Wasp, but that's awesome. And that's exactly what I'm talking about here, where like you having the specific knowledge that your opponent doesn't. And I know they get the same info with their hidden things, but it's more important for you. And you being able to like hide that information and know and leverage it is very important in these situations. So I think a second 5-drop is very important in these lists. I know a lot of decks don't, but I just think it kind of puts it all together, especially with how strong Mercury and how strong Cannonball is. It can win a lane by itself. If everything else you're doing is winning a lane, that's the round. We do not need to win 3 lanes with this deck.
I don't think you ever do win 3 lanes.
No, this is well, when I used to stream, people would ask me for advice, and the number one thing I can recommend in this game is most of the time, please just try and focus on winning 2 lanes. Like so many players spread out and like, oh, I have to do this over here and this over there. You only need to win 2 lanes. on round 2, you often know what on the second turn, you often know what lane you might be losing already. Focus on the other 2. You don't necessarily like it. You can kind of like bluff that lane. You keep them honest, but like focus and kind of plan ahead on what 2 lanes you want to win, and do that. So I mean, this deck is the king of that. You really are never trying to win 3 lanes. You're never going to always win 3 lanes. But I think it's a really important. It's an obvious piece of advice, but I think, and I often will catch myself trying for 3 lanes. I'm like, what am I doing? You just need 2, and I have to remind myself all the time because it's just like a human nature thing.
Yeah, I think that's part of
But
why it's good, though, right? Because
yeah,
it naturally people are like, oh, I'm going to go 3. And if you're the guy who's like hard focusing 2, you can have less points, but they're focused better, right? Like part of
100%,
the reason it's good is because people are doing the other thing.
100%, 100%.
Talk a little bit about what isn't in here, which is to say any answer to the card Magic, which, like, you know, it's very weird because in the finals you're playing against Star-Lord Negative. That's a deck named after Star-Lord and Mr. Negative. You're like, oh, those are the most important cards. From watching your opponent, it felt like Magic was the most important card. That was way more important to them than either of the combo cards.
Yeah, and that's mostly because obviously I don't have a counter for it.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, Magic was also one of the most played cards in this tournament, I think.
It was
And
second.
seeing that was pretty scary.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a calculated concern situation. As good as Magic is, considering your game plan, when they do have to play it, it is kind of expected in just a 3-2. That wastes a lot of their tempo. And if you can like have turns and like 4 and 5 where they're doing that and like you're doing your cool stuff, it actually does kind of eventually even out-ish, you know, as long as you can kind of figure out their plan. Because most of these combo decks you have the answers for, or at least an idea of the answers. So it was a calculated concern not to run any counters, just because every other card is so important.
The second 5 also probably goes a long way because you get to actually
100%.
use your energy when you're doing the 2 5s.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
if you didn't have that second 5 and instead had something else like an Iron Patriot, it'd be like, boy, I'm just getting outpowered by the virtue of them doing things.
Like, what am I doing on these extra turns? You do have more to do on these extra turns, having Ronin and Cannonball, which, that goes a very long way, and it's another very important reason, at least if you're not going to run Magic counters, to be running a second 5 drop. But I think if you were to run a counter, I think I looked at Nocturne hard. I think that over Scarlet Witch. I don't love Scarlet Witch in this deck. I know it's in a lot of the versions.
It's because those are ladder versions, and you get no equity out of it if you're not rug pulling Magic decks, and you wouldn't be able to do that in an open deckless tournament. You might as well play the better one. And
100%.
Yeah.
But I think it would be Nocturne. But then I think I'm dropping Merc Cannonball, and I'm going like Nocturne. I don't know what I'm going even. Nocturne what? I just think it's stronger. I just think you are okay with it. I think you just live with it. And it worked out, obviously, but like it probably makes some of these games easier. That's for sure.
Any final words on the list that you want to impart? Any words of wisdom for any of the players who decide to pick this up?
You know, understand that, and this is other people's words, not mine. A lot of people think this is like the hardest deck in the game. So do take some early lumps.
I think that.
Yeah, I think
I think that. I think it's hard as hell.
And I won't disagree. I so like, if you play it, take the lumps, learn it. It is a deck you will not pick up quickly, and you get better at every game. You know, and I think those are the most rewarding decks to play. I think those are some of the most fun decks to play. I love. I mean, KM said it. This is a very me deck. I'm a control player. I always have been. I was control priest guy in Hearthstone.
Couldn't say this on the broadcast, but like this is you're like a pig in shit here, man. Like you love this.
Yeah. 100%. This is like what I do. I love you. You won't catch me playing a combo deck. You'll catch me playing everything and
I will to drag you down to my level, beat you with experience, the W method.
Yeah. So I mean, you want to play this style, I think it's very rewarding. I think it's the most satisfying thing in the world to Negasonic your opponent's combos, to Cosmo them. You get a lot of it. Ooh, the cape. One of my favorite moments from the final was the cable, the Mystique, Cosmo,
Yes!
the Mystiquing of Cosmo and
That was
stopping their stuff.
unreal,
Oh,
dude. But what
that
you
felt
didn't
so
see,
good.
what you didn't see was how close he was to playing around it.
Really?
Yes, he
That's
had
nuts.
it in the other location for an extended period of time. I was blown away by like this, when I said I thought that was the highest level Marvel Snap we've ever had in a Golden Gauntlet Finals. I meant it. It was because of stuff like that. Like you didn't see, like everything he was doing was like, I know this is an interview about you. Your opponent was so freaking good. That guy was
really
unreal.
impressed. And I knew watching their first match, I was like, I don't want to see this. This is this is like a whole thing.
Like
first off, it's a matchup
multiple players would reach out. Like Butt reached out and he was like, I expect W to do well. I did not expect this guy to be as good as he was. He is making, and this is the quote, big nuts plays.
Yeah.
Like he was balling.
They were great. And I remember watching that first match, they were like kind of trying to show you their thoughts. They were on it. They knew what it wasn't like something where it wasn't intentional.
There are very few negative players who are that good at the deck. Very few.
I
would argue
you gotta
zero.
get them in the Discord.
I have not seen a better negative player than that. That's as good as I've ever seen.
You gotta get them in the Discord for sure.
It was beast mode.
Nah, strong.
Yep.
Happy I beat them.
Yeah.
I mean, but they were incredible.
Man. It was a lot of these finals that sometimes happen, they can be a little bit lopsided just because of matchups and like, sometimes it'll be like a player who didn't expect to necessarily be there versus someone who's like in super high infinite, right? That was one of those where I was just like, I've never seen a better one. I don't know if I ever will. That's like I don't know. This is probably meaningful to you and not to my audience. You just completed an ESPN instant classic. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those. Yeah. Like that's what happened there. It was amazing.
I'm happy to be a part of it. Got to get them in your Discord. We got to talk game with them for sure. They're awesome, and I'm happy to be part of it. And this was a very, very fun thing for me to do. I've gotten second a lot, and I've won opens, I've won things, but this is one of my bigger wins. So I'm pretty happy. This has been a fun weekend for sure.
Well, congratulations. Your socials are going to be linked in the description pending you sending them to me. But if you want to say them out loud here, that is also probably potentially helpful for you.
Yeah. Mostly nowadays, I'll just, and I don't tweet like I used to, but if you can come find me on X, Twitter, whatever it is, W_Marvel Snap. And then my Twitch is W streaming. There's a world I come back to streaming. I would love when is Second Dinner coming out with another game?
I wish I knew, dude.
Man, I would love to. If it's a card game, there's definitely a world I come back heavily for that. But I mean, for now, I'll definitely still be playing Snap. So I'll have my thoughts. Maybe this will inspire me to have more thoughts. I'd love to have you as a follower, and I'll probably follow back. So come around.
Thank you so much to W for this extensive interview full of knowledge droppings. And thanks so much to you, presumably the person who is still watching this far in, for making it this far. I've been KMBest. He has been W Snaps, and I will see you in the next one.